Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DC English Podcast, where you learn to speak real American English with confidence and fun. I am Nora.
Hello, Nora. Hello, everyone. I am Noah. We are so happy to have you with us today, coming to you from Washington, D.C.
In today's episode, we are talking about the past. Specifically, we want to answer a very common question. What did you do yesterday?
Exactly. It is one of those questions we hear all the time. I'm really looking forward to this one. But first, Nora, how is your late afternoon going?
It is quiet right now. The sun is just starting to go down through the window. I made a cup of tea and sat by the table for a few minutes. Sometimes after a long day, you just need that stillness before everything gets busy again.
I know exactly what you mean. My afternoon was pretty similar. I finished some work early, so I took a short walk around the neighborhood. The air felt really fresh today.
That sounds lovely. So, since we're focusing on yesterday, let me ask you first, what did you do yesterday?
Well, yesterday was actually quite different from today. It was a slower day for me. I woke up later than usual, around 8 o'clock.
Oh, that sounds nice. What did you do after you got out of bed?
I made some toast and fruit for breakfast. Then I sat on the porch and read a few chapters of my book. Just quiet time, nothing rushed at all.
That is exactly what I needed yesterday, too. In the morning, I cleaned the kitchen and organized some papers on my desk. It felt good to have everything in order.
Nice. And then what? What did you do next?
After that, I went to a small grocery store near my house. I bought vegetables for dinner and picked up some coffee beans. The line was short, which was a relief.
I like when the store is not crowded. It makes everything feel easier. So you cooked dinner after that?
Yes, I made a simple pasta with tomato sauce and fresh herbs. It took about 20 minutes. Then I washed the dishes and sat down to watch a documentary.
That sounds very peaceful. I did something similar in the afternoon. I called my sister on the phone. We talked for almost an hour.
Oh, that is wonderful. Family calls are always grounding. Grounding means they help you feel calm and connected to what matters. Did you talk about anything specific?
Mostly just everyday things, how work was going, what we plan to do this weekend, and the funny thing our dog did last week. It felt good to hear her voice.
I love that. Those small conversations really help us feel connected. So before we dive into the language part of today's episode, let me ask you something practical. When you talk about yesterday, what's the hardest part for you?
Sometimes I forget whether to add an ED sound or if the word changes completely. It gets confusing when I'm speaking quickly.
That makes total sense, and that's exactly why we're going to practice this together today. We'll look at how native speakers handle past tense naturally without overthinking it. If you enjoyed this calm listening session, please like the video and subscribe so you can join us every week. It really helps our small community grow.
Yes, thank you for that. And if you're still listening, comment below with one thing you did yesterday. Even a short sentence is perfect. We read every single comment.
Now, let's talk about the language we just used. When we describe yesterday, we use what we call past tense verbs. Past tense means we change the verb to show something already happened.
Right. And I notice you said cleaned and bought. Those sound different from clean and buy.
Exactly. We have two main groups here. First, there are irregular verbs. Irregular verbs means they change their shape completely when we talk about the past. For example, buy becomes bought. Go becomes went. Eat becomes ate.
Oh, I see. So you cannot just add ED to those. You have to memorize them a little bit.
Yes, but don't worry. We use the same ones over and over again in daily life. Then there are regular verbs. Regular verbs means you simply add an ED sound to the end of the word, like clean becomes cleaned, cook becomes cooked, call becomes called.
That is actually very helpful. It makes it feel less like a rule book and more like a tool I can actually use.
Exactly. And keeping your sentences connected without long pauses creates what we call conversation flow. Conversation flow means your words move smoothly from one to the next, just like real speech. We'll practice that rhythm in the next part of this episode. Perfect. Let's dive into our first practical area. We'll start with how we talk about routines using time markers and regular verbs.
Right. So when I describe my day, I usually start with the morning. Yesterday morning, I woke up at 7. Then I brushed my teeth and made coffee.
That flows really well. You used yesterday morning as a time marker. Time markers are just words or phrases that tell us when something happened, like last night, this afternoon, or 2 hours ago. They help ground the listener in your timeline.
Oh, I see. So they act like little signposts for the past.
Exactly. And you paired them with regular verbs like brushed and made. Wait, made is actually irregular, but brushed follows the pattern perfectly. Yesterday afternoon, I watered my plants and cleaned the windows.
Watered and cleaned are perfect examples. You just add that ed sound. It makes a sentence feel complete without extra effort.
Right. And notice how we naturally pause after the time marker. Yesterday afternoon, I watered my plants. Then cleaned the windows. That tiny pause gives your brain a moment to pick the next verb. Tiny pause means a very short break in speech that helps with rhythm and clarity.
I like that. It feels less rushed when I leave a little space between ideas.
Exactly. Now let's move to our second area, irregular verbs in daily activities. These are the ones that change shape completely, but we use them constantly.
Okay, yesterday I woke up late. Then I ate breakfast quickly. After that, I went for a short walk and saw some birds in the garden.
You used woke, ate, went, and saw correctly. Those are four of the most common irregular verbs in English. When you string them together like that, it sounds very natural because native speakers rely on them heavily.
It's funny how they don't follow a pattern at all. Wake becomes woke, eat becomes ate, go becomes went, see becomes saw. They just do their own thing.
They really do. But here's the trick. You only need to memorize the ones you actually use in daily life. You don't need to learn every single irregular verb at once. Focus on the actions that describe your routine.
That takes a lot of pressure off. I was trying to remember obscure verbs before, but really I just talk about waking up, eating, going out, and feeling tired.
Exactly. And when you feel tired or relaxed, those are great emotional anchors. Emotional anchors are simple words that help the listener understand how you felt during the story, like calm, stressed, or peaceful. They make your past tense stories more engaging without adding complexity.
I never thought of it that way. So instead of just listing actions, I can add how they made me feel?
Yes, yesterday I cooked dinner and felt really calm afterward. That tiny addition makes the conversation breathe. Now, let's move to our third area, negative and question chains in casual chat. This is where learners often hesitate, but it's actually very straightforward once you practice the pattern.
Okay, let me try. Yesterday, I didn't check my phone before bed. Then I asked myself if I finished all my tasks. I also wondered if I should have gone to the gym instead of watching TV.
That was smooth. You used didn't, followed by base forms, perfectly. Check and finish stayed simple. And you started questions with did, then switched to wondering if. It sounds very conversational.
I noticed that when I use didn't, my brain automatically keeps the next word in its original form. I didn't watch, I didn't order, I didn't text. It's like a little rule that just clicks into place.
Exactly. And for questions, you can chain them naturally. Did you finish work? Did you eat dinner? Did you relax later? Each one stays in base form because did already carries the past tense. Carries the past tense means the word itself holds the time information, so the main verb doesn't need to change again.
That makes so much sense. It's like did does all the heavy lifting.
Exactly. And when you're talking with a friend, you don't need perfect grammar. You just need clear rhythm and consistent patterns. If you slip up, it's fine. We'll correct each other gently or just keep moving forward.
I like that approach. It feels more like hanging out than sitting in a classroom.
Right, and that's exactly what we're aiming for here. 3 simple areas, time markers with regular verbs, common irregular verbs tied to daily actions, and negative question chains that keep the conversation moving. You've already practiced all of them naturally.
It really does feel easier when I stop overthinking each word and just focus on the flow.
Exactly. We'll build on this rhythm in our next segment where we slow down a bit and give you some quiet encouragement before wrapping up today's episode. Before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a small thought. Learning English is rarely about sudden breakthroughs. It's usually built in quiet moments, like this one, right now. You don't need to memorize every rule or speak perfectly on the first try. Just listening, noticing how past tense verbs shift, and letting them settle in your mind is already progress.
Exactly. Some days you'll feel confident with yesterday and tomorrow. Other days your brain might just want to rest. Both are completely normal. The language stays with you even when you're not actively studying.
Right. So be gentle with yourself today. If you made a mistake while speaking or writing, that's just proof you're trying. Every small step adds up over time. You're doing better than you think. Let's do a fast recap of today's conversation.
We practiced talking about yesterday using past tense verbs.
Regular verbs simply add an ed sound to show the action is finished.
Irregular verbs change their shape completely, like go becomes went and eat becomes ate.
Negative sentences use didn't, followed by the base form of the verb.
Questions start with did, and the main verb stays in its original form.
Time markers like yesterday morning or last night help ground your stories.
Keeping a steady rhythm matters more than perfect grammar every single time.
We practiced chaining actions together so your speech flows naturally.
And we remembered that quiet, consistent listening builds real confidence over time.
Thank you so much for spending this calm afternoon with us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment below and answer one simple question. What is one thing you did yesterday? It can be as short or as detailed as you like. We read every single comment and love hearing how your day went.
Thank you for listening, learning, and growing with us. Keep practicing at your own pace.
Goodbye, everyone, and have a peaceful evening. See you in the next episode.